In the next scene we have a nice little detail. Conan is clad in furs, which means that he must have killed the dogs that were hunting him before. He even made a sheath for his sword out of them. So the sword not only provided him with the means to kill his pursuers, but also with clothing. This has probably further cemented his trust in Steel. Another interesting detail comes when he meets Subotai. Their clothes look very much alike, which visually tells us that they will become friends. We are given the same visual clue when both meet Valeria at the Snake Tower. Whereas Subotai is still clothed in furs, Conan has taken off his fur clothings and is just wearing his leather outfit, which resembles that of Valeria and thus hints at their romantic relationship. In the Snake Tower scenes we see many depictions of snakes. The Snake Tower itself can be identified as a snake, but also as a phallic symbol. The movie makes it very clear that much of the influence that Doom and the snake cult exert over others is of a sexual nature. In some mythologies, snakes are symbols of sexuality, and since Doom's symbol is two snakes in one, so to speak, it might mean that his sexual power over others is stronger than normal, even more so if we consider that snakes have two penises, which with two snakes might make it a total of 4 penises. There's an interesting article on the internet which is called Conan on the Couch, which analyzes the movie from a Freudian perspective. I will not discuss it here because I have nothing to add to it, but I would recommend you to read it. Thulsa Doom's symbol has a counterpart in Greek mythology, which is called Amphisbaena. This creature is said to have spawned from the blood of Medusa's severed head, but unfortunately there doesn't seem to be much more information on the Amphisbaena that would be relevant for this video, other than the fact that a few heads get cut off in this movie, which is how the Amphisbaena was created in the first place. But we still have one more detail to talk about. In the tower we also see this snake statue, which is an Ouroboros from Egyptian mythology. The Ouroboros is biting its own tail, therefore forming a circle that represents the endless cycle of life and death. It is also said to surround the totality of creation. The Ouroboros appears in many cultures throughout history, but since John Milius inserted many Viking references in the movie, the most interesting one would be that of the word serpent in Norse mythology, which is called Jormungandr or the Midgard snake. Jormungandr was so large that it could extend over the earth and grasp its own tail. With regards to Thulsa Doom, this could mean that the snake cult is clearly aiming at ruling the entire world. It might also mean that the cult wants to destroy and reshape the world, because Jormungandr also appears at Ragnarok, the battle that brings the destruction and renewal of the world in Norse mythology. It might also be worth noting that the giant snake in the pit looks a bit like an Ouroboros. It isn't biting its own tail, but it is surrounding the altar. And this is all about snakes for now. Conan initially tries to find Thulsa Doom to avenge his parents and his people, but after he gets together with Subotai and Valeria, he loses all purpose and indulges in the spoils of the thefts. Only when they are brought before King Osric, who requests him to save his daughter from Thulsa Doom in exchange for a great reward, does Conan remember his original goal. In the following scene, he is intently looking at the symbol that he stole from the Snake Tower, while listening to Valeria. She tries to convince him of forgetting about Thulsa Doom, and when she mentions that she has spoken to Subotai about it, his facial expression and posture of his arms slightly change, which probably means that he doesn't approve of what she is saying. Since he leaves them both behind on the next morning, I think that he feels betrayed to a degree, or that he now thinks that he cannot completely trust them in this matter, probably remembering the words of his father that he can't trust anyone in this world. He has the sword after all. He doesn't need anything else, and it will not try to sway him from his path.